Hello and welcome to Vlad the Impaler. It is a text-based game where you have to solve the mystery of odd murders going on in the city of Istanbul. Today we'll be in the soldier because I've never actually played a soldier.
My friend, I have need of your skills once again. Darkness has fallen upon the city of Istanbul. Blood paints the streets, and the cries of the dying rise from the night. The Sultan himself will not set foot within its walls until the dread curse is lifted.
Oops, I did not mean to do that. Pretty much, our contractor sent us here. You pass through the gates of Istanbul on a moonless night. Lights from torches are few, and the eyes of midnight wanderers are many. A group of guards huddle around the body of a woman, her heart ripped out and used to paint a tall, bloody 15 days on the wall behind her. The weight of fear is heavy on the street. The scent of death haunts the tight air. The city under siege, and the enemy. That's the game's way of telling us we have 15 days to solve crimes going on in Istanbul. Up here we have a morality, which overall defines our overarching class, whether it be Paladin or Death Knight, I think the other one is. Our stats, so we can tell how good we are at some things. We are mainly combative based. And our charm is just our overall popularity. So with any great investigation, you always go to the market. And let's get some baklava. Don't know what that is. You're wandering through this Istanbul bazaar, eating a piece of honeyed baklava, when you notice a little girl watching you from a few tents away. She looks as though she's coveting the sticky dessert that is getting all over your fingers. You give her a slight smile of condolence. Then, hands suddenly emerge from a secret fold in the tent behind the girl and pull her inside without a sound. Of all the abductions that you've been following in the city, you never thought you'd actually witness one happening. You walk over to the front of the tent, finishing off the last of your dessert. "Welcome, my friend," says a smiling merchant in a turban. "Are you in need of lamp or oil?" Tell the merchant that whoever is holding the girl in the tent had better release her right now before you summon a city guard. Force your way inside and handle the kidnapper directly. We're a manly man. Let's force our way in. You shove the merchant aside without a second thought and draw your weapon as you enter the darkened tent. The smell of lamp oil greets your nostrils. You see that a man clad in black, can't talk today, has already stuffed the girl, bound and gagged her, into a wicker basket. Okay. His eyes meet yours with surprise, a little confusion. Not wasting a moment, you leap at him. His free hand draws a knife. You slice that hand away at the wrist. The kidnapper screams. You kick him to the ground as blood sprays from his severed stump. You then spin around, knowing full well that the merchant will be attacking from behind. He runs himself through on your blade, a look of anguish and shock crossing his face. You wrench the weapon free of him, spraying blood across the piles of lamps, then turn back to question the kidnapper. Unfortunately, he is already gone. Wow, he moved fast. The trail of blood should be easy to follow, but you abandon thoughts of chase in favor of rescuing the girl. You pull open the basket, untie her, and carry her outside. A woman immediately comes running up to her and takes her out of your arms. The girl cries, "Mommy," as you let her go. The mother thanks you profusely, says that Istanbul needs more heroes like you. And one charm and one strength. We killed some people. Let's go to the square next. That should be a interesting time. Or, I don't know, let's buy some falafel. Because we're a fat ass, I guess. You have just purchased your lunch from a falafel vendor when a man bumps into you. "Please," he whispers, "I need your cloak." You look at the man. He is of breath and sweating. You see his kind of expression before look over... You've seen his kind of expression before look over his shoulder to see palace guards moving quickly through the crowd, searching for someone. "Please," he begs. This is not well written. You're a good guy. Alright, you say, but tell me why they're after you. He switches his cloaks with you as he says, "The Grand Vizier is corrupt. The Sultan charged him with rooting out the people behind all these killings, but he's taking money from them in order to look the other way." "You have proof of this?" you ask, tossing the man's cloak away. No, but I overheard the visor discussing with someone when they thought they were alone. Now he sent the guards after me, saying that I snuck into the royal harem. It's a death sentence. Here, you say, giving him your lunch, in case this afternoon's chase is making you hungry. He looks at you with profound gratitude. Thank you, my friend. He says, melting away into the crowd. You turn around to buy more falafel as the palace guards brush past you. One of them finds the man's cloak on the ground and swears out loud, "He's no longer wearing the cloak!" A large man shouts, then turns to press deeper into the crowd. Very interesting. So the Sultan's most trusted advisor is in on the corruption. Charm and intelligence. Alright. Check out the port. Let's ask around. Oh, Jesus, what the hell? Look at the teeth! So sharp. Barbed. Don't want to get bit by that. I think that's an actual real sea creature somewhere. I don't know where. You head down to the docks intending on questioning people with a rash of horrific murders that have been happening. You can tell that people are on edge. They are gathering in greater numbers, even during the day, but few of them will talk to you. Just as you are about to head to a different district, a chorus of gasps and shrieks erupt from further down the pier. I would too if I saw that thing. You run toward the commotion, a crowd forming around a large fishing boat. There, caught in the net with a day's catch, is one of the strangest creatures you've ever seen. It looks like a cross between a fish and a serpent, but it is over 12 feet long. Its eyes are deep red, and its powerful jaws are lined with impossibly large fangs. Several people cross themselves, despite the fact that it is clearly dead. The man next to you, who is a merchant you've seen in the bazaar, says, "Never did I believe I'd see a Judas fish during my lifetime. I'll pay you 40 gold coins for it." The fisherman accepts, but says he won't touch it. The merchant then says, "Another 30 silver coins to the man who will carry it back to my tent." Alright. "I'll carry it," you say to the merchant, thanks profusely. The fisherman releases the net, spilling the array of fish onto the pier. The Judas fish unrolls to its full dead length amid several other gasps. You walk up to it. If you didn't know any better, you'd say it was looking directly at you with its dead red eyes. You then draw your weapon and slice its head off. The crowd shrieks again as the bloody body suddenly flops and flails. The beast clearly was having only been playing dead. Blood sprays everywhere, followed by the last meal the creature had, a chewed-up, desiccated fisherman. The merchant looks at you enraged. "I did not say to butcher it." "That's true," you reply, resheathing your weapon. "You never did specify the condition you wanted it in your tent." You pick up the bleeding head with one hand and sling the long body over your shoulder with the other. The merchant is fuming, but seems to be a little afraid of you now. He curses silently and leads the way. Alright, we are still a soldier, and that is the end of chapter 1. We have gained 2 charm, 2 con, a strength, and intelligence. Pretty decent. Chapter 2. Now let's continue on. Let's push for 2 chapters done. I think there's 5 in them. The evidence you collected lays spread out on the table before you. Your meal from the tavern downstairs sits half-eaten as you try to make sense of results of your encounters. That's when you sense the presence behind you. On instinct, you spin it with a side just as the knife passes through the air where you'd been standing. All your weapons are across the room, save the one that no one ever suspects, you. Singular speed and deft strikes, you grapple with the hooded assassin, keeping the jagged knife just beyond the slice of your flesh until, at last, you gain that crucial advantage and flip your attacker over onto the table, breaking it to splinters in the process. Suplex! The assassin lies still. Pulling back his mask, you find a horrible slackness in his head, the result of a broken neck. Wow, that's brutal. That is really brutal. His face is European. Around his neck is a silver cross with a tiny dragon curled around it. In his pocket, you find a small bound copy of the Exorcist Doctrine, a piece of folded paper. It is a letter with the name of the inn where you are staying as well as your room number. Excellent, you think to yourself. If people are trying to kill me, then I must be getting somewhere. Life is like a video game. If you make enemies, you're going in the right direction. I actually like that necklace. You may now enter the catacombs in the basilica. Let's check out Square one more time and wander at nightfall. Square is quiet at night. Here and there, the late night wanderers move like dark ghosts toward their destinations, keeping mostly to themselves. You walk among them, unable to sleep, attempting to find the connections to all the varied pieces of the puzzle you gathered. A soft clicking sound drifts across the square as you recognize it from your nights in the Lebanese desert. You gaze off toward the Tower of Galata. After a few moments, your eyes detect a swarm of bats circling their way across the square, probably snatching up moths in the warm night. The sight reminds you of happier times, the warmth of a body next to you on the open sands, but as you watch the cloud of bats, you realize their movement is strange. It almost seems like they are spiraling around so tightly that they're collapsing on one another. You blink in disbelief as a swirling cloud condenses into the form of a man, dressed in flowing black. Now we may be brute force, but we're not stupid. So let's go talk to him. You walk toward the man. He looks at you with eyes that burn white beneath flowing black hair. You there, you say. Who are you? What are you doing here? I am taking in the sights, he replies in a low voice. And yourself? You fall into step beside him as the two of you walk south. I'm here in Istanbul because Istanbul is slipping into the darkness, you say, and someone needs to save it. The man nods. Indeed, it seems someone should. You glance over at him. Are you one of those dark powers, you ask? He doesn't quite smile when he replies, I am a dark power, but not the one you speak of. Should I beware of you anyway, you ask? If you are wise. But I will not be here long. There are many other threats in this place that you should spend your time investigating if you truly wish to save the city. I am listening, you say. Start with the Basilica, he replies. I was once told the worst men in Istanbul use the east entrance. I'll look into that, you say. Anything else? He glances over at you with ghostly white eyes. Yes. Given the choice between a sword and a flower, always choose the flower. You look over him again, confused. Are you going to throw a daffodil at him and make him have an allergic reaction? Make him sneeze to death? Whatever. He simply nods and is suddenly 20 yards away from you. You watch as he leaves the square and wanders up in the neighborhood. Just who was he? +1 intelligence. Alright, well, we said to go to Basilica, so let's go to Basilica. Attend evening mass. Oh. God. You enter Basilica shortly after dusk. Evening mass is in session as the priest reads from the Book of Revelations. You walk along the outside of the pews, analyzing the parishioners who have gathered, searching for any sign of the unusual. Your eyes suddenly land on a man sitting in the middle of the pew. His throat is pouring blood from a gasping gash. We want to draw attention to ourselves. Let's wait. A few minutes go by before the first scream is heard. Then chaos breaks out as the churchgoers rise to their feet in horror. The man's head falls back, forcing more blood to spray from his neck. More screams erupt as people cross themselves, the priest coming running down the central aisle. You keep an eye on everyone who is seated, even remotely close to the man. 3 different women, 2 men, a pair of children. None of them act out of character for suddenly seeing a dead body. None of them move suddenly toward the exit. Whichever one is assassin is very good at blending in. Then you notice a gypsy woman cross herself and she says a word under her breath, a message. Something about that word seems strange, and you walk over to Gypsy. You ask her what the word means, but she is spooked by your question and runs off. 2 burly brothers on either side of her. +1 to magic. Check out and visit. You're visiting Basilica before sundown when you notice a group of altar boys gathered around the corner. They seem to be up to something, but you can't tell what. When the priest finally calls it for them, they run off, giggling and shoving each other. Approach the small table they were at had been gathered around this open box. Peering inside, you find a mouse. Aw. The mouse is desperately trying to get out of the box, but the boys have covered the poor thing in lamp oil, so it's just slipping helplessly off the sides. And let's free the mouse. You remember the mouse that you used to feed at the orphanage? You'd pull the little creature out of the box and put it in your pocket. Once you're outside the basilica, you set it free in the alley. As it scampers away, you remember how difficult it can be for a creature so small to get out of going to church. That did not do anything. Chapter 3. The orphan with eye patch scurries soundlessly across the dark rooftops to where you are perched. My imam says that the amulet you drew is a symbol of the holy order of the Knights of Dragon. I, the smudge-faced boy, ask, how can that be? Why would a holy knight try to kill me? Ask about the cross. You show the silver amulet to the orphan, allowing him to look it over. My imam says that the symbol here belongs to the holy order of the Knights of the Dragon. Oh, there we go. The orphan smiles with a few missing teeth and says, Crusaders trying to kill you, eh? Now you know how it is to live in Istanbul. You throw a gold coin to the child, he nods in appreciation, then disappears silent across the rooftops. Hold the silver pendant up and look at it, dangling against the skyline of the city below. Order of the Dragon. Now to the palace. And I think that's where I'm going to pause it here and finish up the rest of this on the next video. I will see you all later, possibly in the future, maybe next time, maybe bye?